Good morning, children. Thought for the day. Every new day brings with it another chance to change life. So let us take this new day as a chance to change life and move towards the betterment of life. I hope you all have by now, studied the various terms that we had discussed earlier. If you remember, we had studied what is physics, physical quantities, okay? Quantities such as mass, weight, distance, temperature, volume, these are all physical quantities. We also had studied that a value and a unit are used to express the magnitude of a physical quantity. For example, Swarali walks 2 kilometers every day. In this example, 2 is the value and kilometer is the unit used to express the magnitude of the distance, which is a physical quantity. So what is magnitude? Magnitude will have a value, that means a number, and a unit. Now, physical quantities are of two types: scalar quantity and vector quantity. A quantity that can be completely expressed by its magnitude alone is called a scalar quantity. Now you know what is magnitude. Magnitude is a value and a unit. So any physical quantity which is described completely by its value and unit, that is magnitude, is called a scalar quantity. So distance is a scalar quantity. For example, a value with a unit is used to express quantities such as length, breadth, area, mass, temperature, density, time, work, etc. Thus, we say that length of a tunnel is 2 kilometers. The fever temperature is 101 degree Fahrenheit. So these are all having magnitudes, and that is why such physical quantities are scalar quantities. Vector quantity. The quantity that is described completely only when magnitude and direction, they are both given, that quantity is called as vector. So here magnitude is required, and what is magnitude? A value and a unit. And apart from value and unit, in these physical quantities there is also a requirement of mention of direction. So if these three things are there, then that physical quantity becomes a vector quantity. Displacement, velocity, these are vector quantities. For example, a displacement of 20 kilometers towards the north. Okay, here a direction is mentioned. The aeroplane flying at a velocity of 500 km per hour towards Mumbai. So again, a direction is mentioned. Such quantity is vector quantity. Now let us go through the differences between scalar and vector quantity. Scalar quantity has only magnitude, and vector quantity has both magnitude and direction. Example is length, area, volume, speed, mass, density, pressure, temperature. And for vector quantity, the example is displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, force, weight, etc. Mass. The amount of matter present in a substance is called mass. Mass has a natural tendency to resist a change in its state, which is called inertia. Mass is the qualitative measure of the inertia of an object. The larger the mass, the greater is the inertia. Mass is a scalar quantity. It does not change from place to place anywhere in the world. The quantities mass and weight are, however, different. Gram and kilogram are the units of mass. When we use the two-pan common balance in a shop, we compare two masses. So the amount of matter present in a substance is called mass. And it is a scalar quantity. Why? Because it is defined by magnitude alone. A value and a unit. That's it. Weight. What we measure in grams and kilograms is mass and not weight. The gravitational force that acts on this mass is called its weight. The gravitational force by which the earth attracts an object towards the center is called the weight of the object. And therefore, weight is a vector quantity. It is different at different places on the earth because there is some difference in the gravitational force, and hence weight is different in different places of the earth. And so weight is a vector quantity because it has magnitude and it also requires a direction to be expressed completely. Now let us go through the difference between mass and weight. Mass is the amount of matter contained in a physical body, and weight is the gravitational force with which a physical body is attached to the center of the earth. Mass has magnitude, weight has both magnitude and direction. Mass is a scalar quantity and weight is a vector quantity. Gram and kilogram are the units of mass. Dyne and Newton are the units of weight. Use your brain power. Why would the weight of an object be maximum at the poles and minimum at the equator? See children, the earth is not a completely spherical planet. Now you must have studied in geography that there is slight depression on both the polar regions. The equator, on the other hand, is slightly bulging, and therefore the equatorial radius is slightly more than the polar radius. The gravitational acceleration at the center of the earth is 0. The gravitational force at equator is greater than that of at the poles. Therefore, here weight is 0. On the other hand, the objects weigh more on the poles. Therefore, weight of an object be maximum at the poles and minimum at the equator. Why is the weight of an object at a high altitude less than its weight at the sea level? The weight will be less at the place where the gravitational force is less, because we define weight as gravitational force acting on the mass. So if gravitational force is less, weight will be less. As the object rises to higher altitude, it is moving away from the center of the earth. The gravitational force at higher altitudes will be lesser as compared to that of at the sea level. Therefore, weight of an object at a high altitude less than its weight at the sea level. Do you know? Our body has weight because of the gravitational force of the earth. The gravitational force of the moon being less, our weight will turn out to be less there. Our mass, however, is the same at both the places. Give a thought to this. Try this. Standardized measurement. Take a ball of string. Let one student from the class measure 4 handspans of the string. Children, you can do this on your own at home with your parents or any family members. Okay, so you have to measure the length of the string. How? With your hand span. Let each of the other member cut 4 hand spans of the string. Now hold all the pieces together by one end. Are they all of the same length? If you measure the string with your hand, your father measures it with his hand, maybe your sister measures the string with her hand. Do you think after 4 hand spans all the strings that are cut 4 times will be the same? No. Why? Because the size of hand is different for different person. It is not the same for all, and hence the hand span is not same for all. Now what you do? You measure the length of a table by means of the span of your hand and ask the other members in the family to do the same. So did you obtain the same measure for that table? No. What could be the reason why? Of course, the same reason. The hand span for every member is not the same. Standardized measures are required for measuring things. Such measures are called standard units. We have to measure many physical quantities accurately. To measure any quantities, we use the unit specified for it. For example, meter is specified m unit for measuring length. A certain distance has been accepted as the standard for 1 meter. Suppose the span of a hand is accepted as the unit for measuring length. With this unit, we can measure the lengths of clothes as 2 hand span, 3 hand span, and so on. However, the lengths of cloths measured by each one of us will come out to be different. And that is why a hand span cannot be a standard unit for measuring length. Isn't it?